Welcome to this explainer. I'm really glad you're here because today we're tackling something that hits close to home for pretty much all of us. We are living in a state of constant emotional hijacking. Just think about your typical day for a second. We literally let the outside world dictate our internal weather. So we're going to explore how to build what we call the internal fortress. Basically, how to stay completely unshakable no matter how chaotic the world gets around you.
Okay, let's dive into this. One new message, and boom, your peace is gone. Think about how often a delayed flight, a snarky comment from a coworker, or just a tiny notification on your screen totally ruins your mood. We let a few glowing pixels paint the entire canvas of our internal well-being. We walk around with this modern illusion that if the world were just a little bit more cooperative, if traffic was lighter, people were nicer, we'd finally be at peace. But here's the reality. When you rely on the outside world to be calm so that you can be calm, you're basically building your house on shifting sands.
Part 1. The Slave Who Found Freedom. To fix all this modern chaos, we actually need to look backwards. There's a radical solution from the ancient world, and it starts with a guy named Epictetus. He lived in Rome roughly 2,000 years ago. Now contrast our super comfortable yet incredibly anxious modern lives with his reality. Epictetus was a slave. He had absolutely no rights and no property. He was physically disabled, likely by his master, and he lived under this constant threat of exile or even death. And yet, he became one of the most respected teachers in human history. His teachings were put together into a manual called the Enchiridion, and what's crucial to get here is that this wasn't some stuffy theoretical philosophy written for scholars in quiet libraries. No, this was a gritty, practical handbook designed for people living under extreme pressure. So there's a massive contrast between how we operate today and how Epictetus operated. Society tells us that strength is having the power to get exactly what you want, right? That being unshakable means you're rich enough or powerful enough to just ignore life's problems. But Epictetus realized that trying to control the world is a really dangerous trap. He understood he could only fix his own mind. He taught that the absolute only true freedom you will ever have is entirely internal.
Part 2, the dichotomy of control. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is that if you take away just one concept from this explainer today, it really needs to be this. We have to draw a hard, solid line right down the middle of reality. On one side, you have what is up to us. That's your opinions, your impulses, your desires, your reactions, and your choices. These are literally the only things that truly belong to you. Then on the other side, you have what is not up to us. Your reputation, your bank account, your health, the outcomes of your hard work, and just external events in general. According to the Stoics, everything in that second group belongs to fortune. And when you try to control or tie your emotional stability to the things you can't control, you become a slave to those exact things. Which brings us to this incredibly powerful idea from Epictetus. He said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." Think about that. You're never actually disturbed by what happens. You're only disturbed by what you think about what happens. Confusing what we control with what we don't control is basically the root cause of all our suffering. We spend so much energy raging against things we can't change and totally neglect the one thing we actually do control, our response. And here's a mind-blowing side note. This exact ancient idea that disruptive emotions come from cognitive errors and faulty judgments is literally what birthed modern cognitive behavioral therapy.
Part 3. The Stoic Resilience Toolkit. So how do we actually put this into practice? How do we stop giving our power away? Let's open up this ancient toolkit. Today, we're constantly told to visualize success, right? Well, the Stoics did the exact opposite. They called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Here's how it works. Every morning, spend just 2 minutes vividly imagining losing the things you value most, your job, your health, maybe even a key relationship. Just sit with that feeling for a second. Then ask yourself, given that I actually still have this today, what would I do differently? By evening, reflect on what you still possess to generate this deep sense of gratitude. Now, I know visualizing losing everything sounds like a pretty terrible way to start a Tuesday, but it's actually an emotional inoculation. You're psychologically preparing yourself so that external catastrophes just don't hold power over you anymore.
Let's look at why this works so incredibly well. First off, it reverses what's called hedonic adaptation. We humans get used to good things way too fast. That house you worked years to afford, it just becomes where you live. Visualizing losing it forces you to see it as a gift all over again. Second, it's fear inoculation. It proves to your brain that worst-case scenarios are, in fact, survivable, and modern science totally backs this up. Psychologist Gabriela Aitingen did research on something called mental contrasting. And she proved that people who visualize both their goals and the obstacles perform significantly better than those who rely purely on positive thinking. Pure positive thinking is fragile, but negative visualization builds durable, real-world resilience.
And this brilliantly illustrates the true power of these tools, because this philosophy wasn't just for Epictetus, the powerless slave. It was practiced every single day by Emperor Marcus Aurelius. This was a man who commanded 500,000 troops and ruled the entire Roman Empire, yet he used these exact same principles in his private journals to stay grounded. He consistently chose calm reflection and virtue over reckless revenge or abusing his absolute power. So the toolkit scales perfectly, whether you have absolutely nothing or you have everything.
Let's move to our next tool. It's called the view from above, tying into a concept the Stoic philosopher Hierocles called oikiosis, or the expanding circle of concern. Basically, it's a cognitive distancing exercise. Start by just focusing on that first circle, yourself, your individual mind, and your body. Take a slow breath. Just feel the immediate stress you might be carrying right now.
Now, I want you to narratively zoom out. Imagine stepping out of your body and floating up. You see your immediate family, then your neighborhood. Keep zooming out until you see your entire city, and then your whole nation. As you expand this perspective, notice how your immediate burning social anxieties and that massive crisis at work just begin to shrink in size.
Finally, complete the zoom out. Picture the Earth from the stars, just a pale blue dot in the vastness of the cosmos. From this monumental perspective, your pain, while totally real to you, is revealed as just a tiny ripple in an infinite ocean of time. This exercise reminds us that our perspective is a choice. You are not your circumstances. You're the rational mind observing them. Creating this kind of psychological distance stops our automatic reactions from escalating into destructive panic.
Part 4, building the internal fortress. You know, the ultimate goal of all these exercises isn't to become some cold, unfeeling robot. It's to achieve true self-mastery, a state the Stoics called apatheia. Now, that doesn't mean apathy. It means a profound freedom from irrational passions and emotional turbulence. To truly secure this fortress, we can look to a concept beautifully described later by the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, amor fati, or the love of fate. He said his formula for human greatness is that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. It's an uncompromising acceptance of reality. The French philosopher Albert Camus saw this as the ultimate virtue too, acknowledging the heavy boulder of life we all have to push, but choosing to positively affirm it anyway, braiding the dark threads of suffering and the bright threads of joy into a single, unbreakable cord.
So, the crucial point is this. The world can take your wealth, it can take your status, it can even take your physical freedom, but it absolutely cannot breach the gates of your character. You are the only one who has the power to open those gates from the inside. When you finally stop trying to fix the outside world to make yourself happy and instead focus purely on fixing your mind, the world completely loses its power to make you miserable. That is the internal fortress. I want you to look at your life right now. Look at your day ahead. What part of your peace are you giving away for free today? Whose opinion, what minor inconvenience, or what totally uncontrollable outcome are you allowing to breach your fortress? Recognize it, take your power back, and guard your gates. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep building that fortress.